It's Ash from Super Videos, back for another video for The Last of Us on HBO. On this video, we're going to be taking a look at a new teaser that was released for the show, specifically some new footage that was in the new teaser, and those new scenes actually have some critic ratings on there, so we're going to take a look at that as well. Also, we're going to take a look at a quick 2-minute audio clip that came out from the show. Now, I don't know if this was official or not, but it's basically audio clip of a conversation that Joel and Ellie have about the Cordyceps fungus and the origin of the Cordyceps fungus, which is definitely super interesting. Now, I'm not gonna play the whole clip, but I'll play a few bits and pieces of it just to show you the parts that I thought were interesting. So with that said, stay tuned, we'll be right back to break these down. As always, before we dive into it, smash the like button, subscribe to join our community, and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. With that said, let's dive right into it. This was one of the scenes that was in the new teaser. This is not new footage, we've seen it before, but there is critics quote on it, so I thought I'll include it. So we have Daily Beast saying, "A rivering and suspenseful triumph." So that's pretty cool. Not much to go by here. I mean, we know it's going to be a suspenseful triumph, a suspenseful story. If you've played the game, you know that. So there's nothing really new here. Another one from IndieWire saying, "Astounding. Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey are outstanding." Again, a lot of these are praising not just the show, but the performance by Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey. I know a lot of fans have been on the fence about those two castings specifically, and they were really skeptical on how it's going to turn out. But a lot of these positive reviews are definitely giving even doubtful fans some level of hope. At least I hope that's the case. But there's some new footage in this one, so we see what appears to be maybe soldiers in the forest, and then we have this pretty cool atmospheric shots. So obviously we have a post-apocalyptic city center, which is pretty awesome. And we obviously see Rolling Stone saying this is going to be HBO's next big hit after Game of Thrones. Obviously, I'm assuming that's what they're referring to. But this is super cool. I mean, something I've heard from a lot of people is that the atmosphere is a character in itself in The Last of Us. And that's very much true, and this just brings that out even more, and it puts it in front of you, front and center, how the environment and the atmosphere is a character in itself. Now, fun fact, they actually filmed a lot of stuff for The Last of Us in the city that I live in, Calgary, and I actually went to set when they were filming this particular scene. So this is the behind the scenes for what you just saw. Just a little bit of a tidbit behind the scenes for you in case you're interested. I have a lot of videos on the channel covering all of these behind the scenes stuff when it first came out, like early days of when they were filming. So if you're interested to see even more and get more details, definitely go check out other videos on the channel. The next footage we have is actually this one. So we obviously see Ellie in front of the Capitol building. I'm assuming that this is part of the chapter in the story where we have Joel, Ellie, and Tess going to the Capitol building. That's where obviously we have a pretty major moment with Tess. I'm assuming that this is from that scene. But another thing, obviously, the atmosphere, the environment, again, in your face. Like, it's a character in itself. I think that's a very good way of describing what the environment and the atmosphere means in the Last of Us universe. But we have a lot of other quotes from critics. We have The Hollywood Reporter saying it's powerful. We have Mashable saying tremendous performances. Variety saying that it's moving. Collider saying it's exceptional. Time saying it's gorgeous. Washington Post saying it's fascinating. Empire saying that it was spectacular, giving it a 5 out of 5 star. IGN saying it's breathtaking and brilliant. Complex saying it's masterful. CNN saying it's exquisite, and BBC saying it's remarkable. So all positive reviews. I mean, every positive word you can think of to describe a piece of art they've basically mentioned it. So that's definitely super awesome, and it's giving me personally more hype about the show. I mean, I was already hyped about the show, even more so because I've seen a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that they've been doing, and I'm a massive fan of the game, but even more so now after seeing all of these positive reviews. But with that said, let's take a quick look at the audio clip that came out where we hear a discussion between Joel and Ellie about the Cordyceps fungus. I'm not going to play the entire thing, just snippets of it, but obviously when you hear that, you can't help but think of the game. Like, it sounds like you're hearing part of the game with a slightly different audio pitch. You know what I mean? Now, I think it's even more intriguing that they didn't release the footage. They just released the audio clip, because that makes it more fun, because you automatically think of the game and you don't really look at the actors themselves necessarily. Now, one thing to keep in mind, I don't know if this is a leaked audio or not, and that's exactly why I'm not going to play a lot of it. But with that said, I feel like given how big the show is, and given that a big network like HBO is involved, I'm assuming that it's not going to be tough to stop these leaks. You know what I mean? So it's really, really odd that this would be a leak. If it is a leak, then it is what it is. But at the same time, it doesn't really reveal too much, which is good. It's just a fun way to get a little bit of a teaser about what Joel and Ellie are going to be like in the TV adaptation. So let's take a listen to the audio, and I'll come back and say a few things about the audio.
So everything came crashing down in one day?
Pretty much.
How? I mean, no one's infected with Cordyceps. Everybody's fine, eating in restaurants and flying in planes, and then all at once? How did it even start? If you have to get bit to be infected, then who bit the first person? Was it a monkey? I bet it was a monkey.
It wasn't a monkey. I thought you went to school.
Fedra school? You know, teaches how their shitty government failed to prevent a pandemic.
No one knows for sure, but best guess, Cordyceps mutated. Some of it got into the food supply, probably a basic ingredient like flour or sugar.
Alright, so as you heard, we have a pretty fun conversation between Ellie and Joel, at least at the beginning. I love how Ellie brings up the fact that maybe monkeys were involved. I think that's a direct quote from the game, and it just shows Ellie's personality. It's classic Ellie. She's definitely that fun person that makes jokes of everything, and she has that charisma, and she has that side to her that can make you laugh with the silliest things. But also the other part, obviously, hearing Pedro Pascal as Joel, I absolutely loved it. I mean, to me, it sounded like Joel from the game. Like, I couldn't even hear Pedro Pascal in that audio. I heard Joel. That's how good it was. But going back to what they were talking about, obviously, they're talking about the spread of the Cordyceps fungus, how it could have started, and all of that. And based on things that Joel said in that quick audio that I put, it seems like they are definitely giving us more tidbits of information as far as how that could have happened. A lot more than the game. In fact, we do know, based on some things that were in the teasers, and also based on some information that I have, some behind the scenes information, we know that they're gonna tell us the origin of the Cordyceps fungus. So I think what we just heard Joel talk about goes hand in hand with that backstory or that origin story for the Cordyceps fungus that we're gonna see in the TV adaptation. A lot of things that have come out have been positive, and as far as things that they have changed from the source material, which is the video game, most of it has been positive. I mean, most of the changes that I know of that they're doing is things that are gonna expand the story in a good way. The one negative thing that they are changing is not bringing in the spores in the TV adaptation and replacing it with tendrils. But other than that, a lot of things that they're changing are things that are positive in the grand scheme of things for the story. But that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash the like button, subscribe to join our community, and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video.